Greetings, everybody, from the city that never sleeps, New York, New York. It's the USL Championship tonight as Brooklyn FC welcomes Western Conference contenders San Antonio to town. Maimonides Park in Brooklyn, to be precise, for this East versus West showdown in Coney Island tonight. Sean St. Jacques, Ken Levicka, our entire crew, great to have you with us. It's the first time these two clubs have ever met, and certainly both teams need 3 points in their respective playoff contending modes at this particular point of the season. For Brooklyn, in their first season as a club, they find themselves in 11th in the Eastern Conference of the USL Championship. A win for them could get them very close to the playoff line. There's still a lot of maneuverability in and around the 8 and the 9 spot right now in the East, particularly at home. Brooklyn need to pick up results or they could potentially fade away in the conversation. That's why a game like tonight with a big Western Conference power in the house could be very, very important for Brooklyn's playoff hopes. And Ken, you look at the Western Conference, San Antonio in second are hoping to track down Orange County.
And they've had their opportunities, and they lose at home last time out to Las Vegas. This could look entirely different, really rapping on the door of Orange County. But San Antonio in a wide open Western Conference. They have the experience, they have the depth. They need to get a bit healthier, but it's all there for them. But have to take care of business tonight because they've struggled with some of the lower teams in the table.
Every single team still has a really good chance to do what they want to do in the Western Conference. It's going to be fascinating down the stretch. Players to watch, we start with San Antonio and one of the league's great chance creators, Jorge Hernandez.
When you talk about San Antonio, this is always the first name that comes up. Led the team in goals a year ago with 11, has 11 goal contributions. That's top 5 in the USL Championship. When you're trying to bounce back from a loss that really didn't feel good, it's such a benefit to have a dependable player like Jorge Hernandez, where you know when he has the keys, he's going to make things happen and lift the entire side.
On the other side of the coin for Brooklyn, they have a lot of attacking talent under Marlon LeBlanc, namely C.J. Olney Jr., who's in very good form.
Yeah, C.J. Olney, he's the Jorge Hernandez of Brooklyn. A midfielder, he can hold it, he can distribute, he makes the right decision. He's got the 2 goals, he has the 4 assists. Brooklyn needs more even play. He's the most likely option, him and McNamara, to bring them more even play. We've seen bursts of how good they can be, but as Olney goes, typically this team has gone. If he can steady, Brooklyn could have a big kick to the finish line in the second half.
At times this season, Brooklyn have tested some of the best teams in the USL Championship, particularly here on Coney Island. We'll see if they can do it again tonight as San Antonio looks to bounce back in their respective Western Conference playoff chase. The first ever meeting between these two clubs when we come back. Lineups and kickoff are next from New York.
Hearts. No two beat the same. So we built a team of the best heart surgeons, pioneers of the most modern techniques, who always find the one approach that's best for you. But while each surgery is unique, the outcome is the same: the highest success rates. NYU Langone Health.
This week on USL All Access, we are back on SiriusXM FC, which means we recap the month that most people didn't see on YouTube. Trevor Ammon, the fastest professional hat trick in American soccer history, speaks with Devin. Plus, we break down the quarterfinal matchups for mid-August's USL Brinks Tires Cup. All that more on SiriusXM FC, the USL YouTube page.
Hearts. No two beat the same. So we built a team of the best heart surgeons, pioneers of the most modern techniques, who always find the one approach that's best for you. But while each surgery is unique, the outcome is the same: the highest success rates. NYU Langone Health.
week on USL All Access, we are back on SiriusXM FC, which means we recap the month that most people didn't see on YouTube. Trevor Ammon, the fastest professional hat trick in American soccer history, speaks with Devin. Plus, we break down the quarterfinal matchups for mid-August's USL Prinks Tires Cup. All that more on SiriusXM FC, the USL YouTube page.
Welcome back to Brooklyn, everybody. Sean St. Jacques, Ken Levicka here with you. This game was supposed to start at 7 p.m. Eastern. We were just waiting for some of New York's finest. The EMTs have arrived. We're just about ready for kickoff in the first ever meeting between Brooklyn and San Antonio in the USL Championship tonight. Diving right into the starting 11s, we start with Brooklyn under the tutelage of Marlon LeBlanc, in need of 3 points in the playoff chase in the East.
Marcus Anderson coming off the bench tonight for Brooklyn FC, available as a substitute. That is the big change from what we typically see. Pierre De Silva will be at the top of Marlon LeBlanc's rotation. His starting 11, and Lucas Burns in goal, who appears to be now, since it's been the last 4 matches, the #1 goalkeeper for Brooklyn.
Brooklyn showed a lot of fight, going back from 2-0 down away to Jacksonville last time out. They get a 2-2 draw. They'll look to build on that here tonight. On the other side of the coin for San Antonio, under Carlos Llamosa, they're coming off a tough defeat at home against Las Vegas.
Ugly to look at the film and then go into that. 7 changes for San Antonio from the 2-1 defeat to Las Vegas. Petruni's back in goal after he suffered a red card suspension.
Well, with that, we're just about ready to go here, Maimonides Park, Coney Island, Brooklyn, New York. Wonderful backdrop here on a late summer's evening in the Big Apple. It will be San Antonio who get us started. They're in their road whites with the Red Sox. They're going from left to right against Brooklyn in their home blacks. Sean St. Jacques, Ken Levicka, our entire crew, great to have you with us. First ever meeting between these two clubs. There's plenty on the line. San Antonio trying to track down Orange County for the #1 seed at the moment in the Western Conference, while Brooklyn, in their first ever season on the men's side in the USL Championship, are in dire need of points to stay afloat in the Eastern Conference playoff chase as they try to track down the likes of Birmingham, Hartford, and Rhode Island, who are in and amongst the playoff line at the moment.
For those San Antonio fans watching, this is your first look at a match here at Maimonides Park. And as you can see, it is a minor league baseball stadium, and this is the USL Championship equivalent of Thunderdome. You see some wild soccer on this pitch, and you see a lot of goal kicks go box to box, sometimes goal to goal, and it is tight quarters. As you can see, your eyes do not deceive you, especially touchline to touchline. It is tight, 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 so get ready for some wild footballing tonight.
San Antonio, though, trying to be aggressive in the early moments. They'll win a corner on the far side. Drew Klemp is our head referee in yellow, who awards the set piece to the visitors.
San Antonio looking for a wake-up call. It was an inspired first half against Las Vegas at home to conclude a 3-game home stand. And then that second half, completely different team from the opening 45. And this week, the common refrain out of training was intensity. We need intensity at this point of the season. That can't be a question where that intensity is.
Jorge Hernandez will stand over this corner kick opportunity. One that bundles around here. And it did appear that Lucas Burns needed to get something on that for Brooklyn, and San Antonio will get another bite at the apple.
Alex Cronali was lurking. You see this served in, tricky outswinger, a poor clearance, and Cronali comes in and puts a shot on target. Burns does well to close off the post.
Well, the follow-up San Antonio attempt goes out of play, and it's a goal kick for Burns and for Brooklyn. The loss for San Antonio against Las Vegas was the first time they had lost after leading at halftime since October 20th, 2021. Almost 5 years ago, it ended a run of 46 games unbeaten for San Antonio when leading at the half. Talk about a collector's item, and obviously in the grander scheme, a fabulous result for Devin Rensing's Las Vegas.
Who, by the way, as we speak, are at Detroit City leading 1-0. Are we seeing the rejuvenation of the Las Vegas Lights season? Because what a haul that would be to go onto the road to the second place team in the West and win, and then take down a Detroit City side top of the table that's won 3 in a row.
Olney Jr. on the near side for Brooklyn, tries to keep that in play, does so successfully. Finds Tommy McNamara, who got past a defender, then was looking for a foul that never came.
That was a nasty nutmeg, and McNamara absolutely got grabbed and probably deserved better from the referee.
That looked like NYCFC, Tommy McNamara there for a split second.
That was golden. There you get a look at Gabriel Alves. Nishikawa available as a substitute tonight for Brooklyn. He just came back from injury. A number of Brooklyn players spent a good portion of June and July banged up. There has been mass reintroduction into Marlon LeBlanc's rotation, but a player not available tonight, and it's a big one figuratively and literally, and that's Abdoulaye Kanté, who was injured in the USL Cup triumph to close out that tournament for Brooklyn FC 2 matches ago. Did not play at Sporting Jacks, and now not available tonight. Interesting 11 for Brooklyn because you don't have Kanté and you don't have Anderson. Completely different top of the formation here.
That was wonderful pressure from JC Obregon. It did go out of play, so it's brought to a halt here. And will be a goal kick. Obregon did make the bench for the USL Championship Team of the Week this past week. Tommy McNamara actually made the 11 for Team of the Week, but some Brooklyn pressure there that San Antonio will have to be aware of.
Brooklyn is a pesky pressing team. That is their reputation throughout the league, but especially here at home where it's such close quarters and they are on top of you. When they're pressing well, they're competing well. I mean, we've seen them. The win against Pittsburgh and the 2-2 draw against Louisville. You and I were here in Brooklyn early in the regular season with a 1-0 loss to Louisville City, where Brooklyn was really pesky. They were strong. They just don't score enough sometimes. They need to use the press better to score.
Charleston have struggled against Brooklyn at times this season as well. These are some of the top teams we have in the USL Championship, and Brooklyn have certainly made them work at a minimum. Pierre De Silva's pressure here. San Antonio trying to play their way through. That was Emil Quayshow initially. Alex Cronali on the near side. These kind of moments where San Antonio trying to play through the lines are going to be key to Carlos Llamosa's team having success tonight. And right there, case in point, they get turned over, but Brooklyn are not able to find any cutting edge and profit from it. A poor ball played through everybody. We'll see Burns try to keep this in play for Brooklyn. He does so, and the hosts will get to reshuffle the cards with the ball inside their own half.
Uncharacteristic mistake from CJ Olney. He's trying to push the ball off to the right flank, and it is well behind the intended target. This has been a little bit of a sloppy start. You wonder if the delay to this match maybe affected these two sides.
Here's CJ Olney again. Runs out of room on this near side. Nearly opened up for Brooklyn there. If they were a bit quicker, they'll settle for the throw.
There you saw better from Olney. The footwork on display.
Olney was part of a great group of youngsters under Marlon LeBlanc's tutelage at Philadelphia Union 2 in MLS Next Pro. No surprise that Marlon LeBlanc wanted to bring him here as one of his key young players who have such a potential bright future ahead of them. Lovely cross-field ball onto this near side. And it's threaded through the middle here. It's where San Antonio could have opportunities, where they can be dangerous, but they're not able to put the pieces together on that occasion.
Brooklyn not only pressing, but a bit of a high line as well. And that's what Jorge Hernandez just discovered, trying to keep San Antonio from capitalizing on those runs, those vertical runs, and so far so good for Brooklyn, because that was about the third time here in the opening 8 minutes or so that San Antonio, trying to develop something, was offside. Speaking of Brooklyn offside.
Well, there may have been an infraction
Yeah,
before that all played out.
only
he's down here. I believe the referees dragged this back for a free kick.
I think it might have saved Obregon, because I do think he was offside regardless.
Crognali appeared to be the guilty party there, at least in the eyes of the referee.
Pretty heavy collision. Though we've probably seen worse here, not called in the opening 9 minutes.
Well, what can Brooklyn conjure up here from a set-piece opportunity? Obregon's ball over the top is well read by Joey Batruni off his line, and he collects.
Brooklyn at this point last Saturday was already down 2-0 at Sporting Jack. So if you're Marlon LeBlanc, you feel a little bit better about your prospects. And yes, Brooklyn was able to fight back and get a hard-earned draw, but that was certainly a demoralizing start after you beat Pittsburgh. You pick up all 3 points to end a 7-match winless streak, and then you do that.
Another decent ball played into the middle, a cushioned header away. Callum Frogson initially there. There's more San Antonio pressure afoot here. Played back for Burns. That was a little bit awkward, but the goalkeeper handles it well and clears. Lots of shirt pulling there with Obregon being held up. Plays allowed to continue here. Pierre De Silva leads the Brooklyn charge. Up ahead for Obregon. Good defensive work there from Thiago Suarez. It's out for a Brooklyn throw. And that's not a good sign for Brooklyn. Obregon tumbles over in need of maybe just a moment to recover.
See if there was any contact. I think he's favoring that left leg below the knee. And you see Obregon, yep, there's contact. It looked like knee to knee. That is extremely uncomfortable. I think that was, it was Suarez who came over.
Obregon goes back to work, but he's got a tough battle there. One of the best defenders we have in the USL Championship. Mitch Tainer cleans it up with ease.
One of the 3 players on this roster with over 100 appearances in USL Championship play in their career, wearing that captain's armband. He has had one heck of a season. There's a reason he continues to rack up appearances and has seen so much time in this league. He's so consistent, and a big reason why San Antonio currently sits 3 points off the top of the table in the Western Conference.
You think about the great San Antonio teams, and Carlos Llamosa's had a couple now that are in that conversation, but obviously Alan Marcina's teams went on and won titles and won multiple trophies. Mitch Tainer's been one of the common denominators of this recent spell of great San Antonio teams, and he's certainly a key cog in this year's edition as well. McNamara trying to fight his way through at the moment. He looks for a foul here, and I believe one has been given in Brooklyn's favor.
I don't know about that. Calling it on Tainer. He is beside himself. McNamara, I guess there is a shirt pull. Yep, Tainer's called for 2 hands gripping the shirt of McNamara. Boy, that's a...
One other question here is, was that in the penalty area? That was very, very
close.
close.
You're exactly right. I mean, look at it. We're talking an inch outside of the left box.
And it ends up being wasted over the top by Obregon. I'm a little bit surprised we didn't see Brooklyn make more of that. From at least asking the referee, where did the foul happen, ref?
Make him think about it, for sure. Let's take a look at this here. McNamara, shirt. It's outside, but man, is that close. Oh. McNamara had his heels up against the line. By the way, just in case there's any question, a foul needs to occur with full body, both feet in the box. You can't be straddling the line of the box. But yeah, that was really, really close.
Well, San Antonio's pressure does lead to another set-piece opportunity for them. That's out for a corner on the far side as Ryan McLaughlin and company played it safe.
That's what you can do at this venue, though. You're under siege, and you can flip the pitch immediately by just sending a long ball forward. What would be maybe in the attacking midfield, any other pitch, ends up 3/4 of the way down the field.
What on other fields could be considered a transitional move. Here it could be maybe more of a fast break at times. San Antonio played this short from the corner. They finally whip it into the middle. Tainter plays it square and sends it out of play as the attack fizzles out for San Antonio.
One thing that needs to be paid attention to, and some people watching right now may have seen it, but the other side of the pitch from where the ball is right now, where the infield is at this minor league baseball stadium, the turf is uneven. There are bumps in that turf, and you may have seen San Antonio trying to play it back onto Petruni a few times, and the ball took a hop. You have to be really careful if you're San Antonio and you are not used to some of the peculiar goings-on at this venue. But you'll see it again. It's just different. Many coaches in this league have been vocal about how they dislike playing here, but this is where Brooklyn has an advantage. It's a home field advantage, and they take advantage.
It was wonderful initial hold-up play from Obregon. It's out for a Brooklyn throw. Alves is forced to check it down. Obregon again. Referee blows the whistle here. Oh, I was curious which way that was going to go. It goes San Antonio's way.
Barone took a hit. Yeah, he took a cleat to that foot by Obregon.
No card, it appears, just the foul and a free kick. Tainter. Talk about a cross-field ball. Akeem O'Connor-Ward, lovely first touch. Played it into the middle as well. That was the start of a nearly wonderful San Antonio move. But it ends as the offside flag goes up and Brooklyn gets the free kick. Well, Brooklyn FC fans, it's your chance to get closer to the action and experience Brooklyn from a whole new perspective. Scan the QR code on screen to enter for a chance to win 4 free seats to Brooklyn's new pitchside seating area. These seats put you just steps from the action, where every pass, tackle, and goal happens right in front of you. A lovely little push and a chase. Emil Quajo goes on and just spoons it over the top. Nearly created something very much out of nothing there.
You're starting to see San Antonio flex the athleticism a bit here. Last 2 times down the pitch. Akeem Ward won a foot race up over the top. Great control of the ball. Just could not, maybe panicked a bit, find a way to link up in the box. And there, Quajo, I mean, that's track speed right there, just racing past defenders. But again, that's what, I know I've mentioned it 3 times now, but it is impossible to overstate just how different it is to play here than really anywhere else, even the tight confines of Pittsburgh, anywhere else in this USL Championship. You can be from one side of the pitch to the other in a split second.
San Antonio does give it away again as they tried to play out. Alves down the line for Olney. Olney into the middle. And Petruni had a little bit of an awkward moment there, but eventually made the catch relatively clean.
That is so well done from Olney, who has been a problem so far for San Antonio coming up that left side.
Burns sweeps it up for Brooklyn. Rocco Romeo up ahead. It's out of reach of McNamara as Brooklyn turns it over. It's clipped over the top, but the offside flag is going to go up, making the rest of the sequence a moot point.
Look at Olney turn on the speed. He completely loses to the defender. Good recovery. But Petruni is able to make that hands catch on the back post. Obregon making the run. He's been in outstanding form. He's got goals in back-to-back matches, going to the USL Cup. Penalties win over Rhode Island, and then against Sporting Jacks, able to start that comeback for Brooklyn. But with Marcus Anderson not in the 11 tonight, available as a substitute, and Conte injured. Big moment of the season for Obregon to flex his muscle a bit.
Well, that was a miscued clearance by McLaughlin, handing San Antonio another corner here with about 20 minutes gone in the opening half. And guess who? Jorge Hernandez is going to step up to take it. League best 6 assists. And he also leads the league in total chances created so far as well. Gets it back off the short corner. His cross is blocked away by Olney, who recovers and tries to send Brooklyn on their way, but it's out for a San Antonio throw.
11 goal contributions on the season for Hernandez. That puts him firmly in the top 5 of the USL Championship. But the thing with Hernandez is been there, done that. That's what is expected. He's the engine of this entire thing.
From the throw. Chance to maybe get the cross away on the byline, but McLaughlin does well, wins the battle, and it's a goal kick. Coming into the night, Jorge Hernandez has 46 chances created in the USL Championship. He's got quite a cushion between himself and the rest of the field in that particular stat, but most years he's in and amongst the top 3 when it comes to chances created in league play. Now, can Brooklyn create up the other end here? They have flooded some numbers forward. A little bit of a moment of hesitance and miscommunication there, but they recover possession on this far side. And as they try to thread the needle, Tainter steps in at the right time for San Antonio.
The midfield definitely is congested. And so if you're trying to play it through the midfield, you've got to be real good on your first touch if you're distributing, because the defender is right on top of you at all times.
McNamara tries to bend it into the penalty area, nobody there for Brooklyn.
Right idea, but Obregon held up his run.
McNamara's key penalty got it back to 2-2 away to Jacksonville. Last time out with about 15 minutes of normal time left. You wondered at that point if Brooklyn could go on and win it. But credit Liam Fox's Jacksonville for being able to hold on to at least a point. Foul and a free kick for San Antonio to alleviate some of the Brooklyn press.
If Marlon LeBlanc had it, he would be pulling out his hair based on the last couple of weeks of Brooklyn FC football. Because you go winless in 7, but one of those results is a 2-2 draw at Louisville City, where you should have won that match. You can see it in the 89th minute, should have won that match. You outplayed Louisville City, and then you beat Pittsburgh. You pick up all 3 points to end the winless stretch, and then what happens? You go on the road to Jacksonville, and 9 minutes in, you're down 2-0. And you have to claw and scratch your way to taking a point from that trip to the Sunshine State. Just all over the place, very much like the roller coasters you see in the background, Coney Island. It's just wildly, wildly inconsistent, but there are flashes of really nice play from this Brooklyn side, even if it doesn't show up in the table.
Well, one of the reasons why I'm sure the Brooklyn organization was thrilled when they realized we're going to bring in Marlon LeBlanc, because Marlon LeBlanc is so good at two things: building teams, period, but also developing young talent. And my goodness, has he already started to do that in the right direction with this Brooklyn team. And if he continues to do that, which many people think he will, the thought is that Brooklyn eventually, whether it's this season or maybe next season, will be able to figure it out in a really big way. More good Brooklyn pressure, I should say, in San Antonio's half. Cronali did well under some pressure there. Akeem O'Connor-Ward just about gets out of harm's way and picks out a decent pass as well. This could allow San Antonio to break over the halfway line down this far side. But McLaughlin does well, gets in the way and stops the potential counter. The clapping there is from Marlon LeBlanc, the head coach, in the glasses there, middle of your screen, now being covered up by some of the players. Did such a wonderful job with the Philadelphia Union youngsters in Next Pro, and comes to Brooklyn and has certainly built what is beginning to be a potentially really solid foundation in their first year on the men's side in the USL Championship.
There's no doubt that Brooklyn has earned many coaches' respect in this league. And again, the coaches are very vocal about having to come to Brooklyn and the condition of the turf, and it's talked about exhaustively in this league. That said, a lot of these coaches, a lot of these opponents are quick to qualify that with, there's some talent with Brooklyn, and they press really difficult. It's hard to game plan for that. And you've seen it already tonight. Though the last time down the pitch, and it ended with possession going back to Brooklyn, but playing out of the back and breaking that press from San Antonio, particularly the square ball from Akeem Ward, was absolutely superb.
Well, and you mentioned this earlier as well, Ken. They are just a team that is going to grind you down. They will fight you to the end. They have plenty of that fight, that spirit, that energy. That's a lot of Marlon LeBlanc in there, first and foremost. But it's also what the team that plays in the borough of Brooklyn, right, should be about. And they have those characteristics pretty much going in the right direction already. That's already a good sign from that standpoint, as they have a set piece to work with here. Dead ball situation. Can Brooklyn create from it? Obregon's attempt is blocked, and San Antonio clears. But Brooklyn quickly get back on the front foot. Obregon too tight of a window to fit it through. McNamara orchestrates the press, but San Antonio plays through it until that moment. Good step defensively. Romeo is able to get Brooklyn back on the ball, but he's surrounded and he's dispossessed. Cronali, Hernandez blocked away again. Romeo steps in at the right time. And Quaisho recycles. Love a little link-up play on that far side from San Antonio. There could be space for the shot. Oh, and it's off the post. Rebound header is palmed over the top by Burns. Two great chances for San Antonio, but Brooklyn survives the sequence somehow.
Lucas Burns completely under siege. You see this played in the middle. That is a wonderful attempt. Burns fortunate there, but then he's able to pop right back up. Has himself in an outstanding goalkeeping position for this header that comes his way. Tips it up over the bar. That was destined for goal. It absolutely was. What a hit, but it hits the woodwork, and Brooklyn survives that.
Still a corner to come for San Antonio. You just saw a glimpse. If San Antonio can play through Brooklyn's press, they can make things happen just like that. From the corner, it was a chance for Cronali, not once but twice. He was blocked. On the follow-up, another key block defensively. Callum Frogson steps in the way. Out for yet another set piece.
This is the type of intensity that San Antonio was talking about at training this week. Yes, that shot is blocked, but then Christian Pirano was right there to try and poke a rebound through. This has been really encouraging for San Antonio the last couple of minutes. This week they worked specifically, talked about it consistently. Possession, possession, possession. They're dominating right now.
Hernandez trying to find space to put it across. Oh, it just needed a touch. Cross back into the middle again. McNamara chests it. A swing and a miss on that potential clearance from Van Kuyzeel. He eventually gets it clear.
Lucio Barone, Sean, all he had to do was find some way, chest, head, get a singular touch. Could not do it, but the cross was outstanding, and San Antonio is going to feel done wrong. They didn't cash in, living in the attacking third, that sequence.
Their best sequence of the game. It ends with a free kick going Brooklyn's way. Very positive spell from Carlos Llamosa's group. They just couldn't cash it in.
As good as San Antonio has been this year, and the results speak for themselves, and where they sit in the table, it's pretty obvious things have gone well. But away from the Lone Star State, they have a -3 goal differential in the opening half. That's clearly been an issue for them. This is a good sign for them.
Hernandez, what a lovely ball over the top. Oh, it was pushed centrally by Sorto, but that allowed Brooklyn to recover, and they're able to just about snuff that out defensively.
I think that was intended for Barone. And it ended up on the feet of Sorto, but he had back to goal and wasn't quite sure how to adjust his body to distribute and got caught in between. But these runs from San Antonio, I mean, you had two potential goal scorers right there. Barone and Sorto are completely by themselves.
This game is one of the many East versus West games tonight in the USL Championship. Overall, so far this season, the West has gotten the better of the East. 14 wins to the East's 8, and there's been 12 draws along the way. However, San Antonio are just one of 2 teams in the West that hasn't beaten a team from the East so far this season. A couple of draws, most notably a crazy 4-4 draw away to Jacksonville in a game where Carlos Llamosa's men were down 3-0 at one point early on, but came back to get a point. Historically against the East, San Antonio normally very, very good. Since the start of interconference play back in 2017, 20 wins, just 11 losses, 14 draws against the East, 14 clean sheets, and a +40 goal differential as well. They tend to handle their business against the teams from the East historically.
The Western Conference this season. Who's going to come out as the top seed? Oh, it is way, way too early to call. Sometimes you get a sense right here as you're in late July There's no sense right now, none. I mean, this team has all the ability to be able to pull off that 1 seed. Get in that player shield conversation.
You could bring in scientists, mathematicians, fortune tellers. No one's going to be able to sort this thing out until we actually see it play out. It's that tight. And frankly, it's just the way we like it.
That's right.
Here come Brooklyn again, Obregon. Not quite able to outmuscle Mitch Tainer. Not many can, frankly, in the USL Championship. And again, Petruni is there off his line.
He's just so good. That's textbook center back play right there. Sees Obregon, fields Obregon, makes Obregon feel him, and cuts off the run. Textbook.
And now, Brooklyn are stretched here. Akeem O'Connor-Ward plays it across, and Pirano is blocked, but he follows it up and in to give San Antonio the lead. Christian Pirano just would not be denied for SAFC. Brooklyn had a brief moment where it looked like they had cleared it. San Antonio follows up, and Pirano gives the Texans the lead in Brooklyn.
You have the great play from your captain on one end, and you hit on the counter on the other end. And it was brave defending initially from Brooklyn, but Romeo could not get a touch on the follow. Ward, who has had a real good first half, that cross may have taken a deflection, but staying right with it is Pirano. Look at Ward, he sees him. There's a good touch. And initially Romeo with a nice, brave tackle, but unlucky for him, it falls right back onto the feet of Pirano. In San Antonio, they have tipped the pitch that direction for the last 10 minutes or so. It's a deserved 1-0 lead. Fast break football.
Just the second league goal of the season for Christian Pirano to go along with his 4 assists. And you can't say San Antonio don't deserve it. Wonderful passage of play over these last 5 minutes, and it's yielded the breakthrough. Brooklyn looking for a response, and they nearly get one. Obregon thwarted by Petruni off the whipped ball in.
Well, we're awake. Here we go. It is officially end line to end line. And Akeem Ward has had a field day from his right back spot in this first half. Not only making runs and being dangerous, but the touch on his passes, on his deliveries, has been sensational, and that was another example on that goal. And then Pirano to have the wherewithal to get right back up after hitting the turf, having that tackled away from him, and get his right foot onto it. Again, intensity, and I bring that up because that's the word you heard over and over and over this week at San Antonio in training, because they did not have it in the second half against Las Vegas.
Obregon takes a tumble here. 1 or 2 Brooklyn voices asking for a penalty. The referee's not interested. And then San Antonio turns it over, but the shot is speared over the top. And despite the great pressure to win it back, Brooklyn cannot conjure anything up from it.
Well, De Silva looked up, and Obregon looked like he was standing offside. So there's one option you don't have. You see the defense starting to bear down on you and decided to give it a hit.
Well, fans, don't miss your chance to win big. Scan the QR code now for a chance to win $10,000 towards your rent or a Windmill air conditioner, air purifier, and fan package. It's quick, easy, and you could be our next lucky winner. Scan the QR code today. It's courtesy of Windmill.
San Antonio, the last thing you want to do after taking advantage of your athleticism and getting the first goal of this match is to start doing silly things in the back and handing chances to Brooklyn. because that's the only way Brooklyn's going to get back into this. They get goals off of turnovers and hitting on the counter. They don't play out of the back and hurt you consistently. You can't do that.
That nudges off the corner flag. It's a goal kick. To your point, it's almost been as if Brooklyn says, hey, you guys have the ball, and then we'll go from there.
San Antonio worked a lot on possession this week. They did not have much of the ball at all against Las Vegas in the second 45, and it showed on the scoreline, and it's why that result got gacked away after things looked real promising at halftime. And not that it means everything, but San Antonio's up over 65% possession right now, inside of 10 minutes left to go in the half.
Quayshow battling for it there. He did score his first league goal for San Antonio in the loss to Las Vegas, and then obviously the Lights took it from there in the second half. And no Santiago Patino as well tonight. Got sent off, suspended tonight for San Antonio, and certainly in these kinds of moments they could use him. But the other thing you have to mention is that Carlos Llamosa has an incredible amount of depth, as many great San Antonio teams have had over the years. Was wondering if the foul was going to be called here, and now tempers are frayed here right in front of both the assistant referee and the head referee.
Barone with the extracurriculars after play was stopped. Brooklyn's going to claim that it was violent conduct. Doesn't look like the referee's very interested in further discussing that.
Brief look there at Carlos Llamosa, the San Antonio head coach. The initial decision was, I think, either offside or foul here.
It was offside.
And then it obviously bubbles over.
So Tainter gets locked up. And then there's further discussion. And let's see how this ended up with. And there looked like there was a shove. Player claiming there was a hit to the throat. I'm surprised there wasn't any sort of talking to. Barone didn't even really look like he got a scolding. It certainly looked like there was physical contact, maybe near the neck area, and probably embellished a bit, but that deserves a little bit more attention.
Certainly no card, and like you said, Ken, I'm not sure the referee even brought anyone off to the side for a chat on that. Which means we'll have to keep an eye on it as it develops. May have to see that bubble over again before the referee really steps in.
Well, we said at the onset, this is the footballing equivalent of Thunderdome here at this venue. Anything goes tonight.
Just under 4 minutes plus stoppage time left in the half. Christian Pirano's second goal in the championship this season has San Antonio on top. Obregon Jr. for De Silva. They try to link up on the return, but it's played back for Petruni, who clears.
But now that you go to halftime, and if you're unable to equalize, curious to see where the Marcus Anderson conversation lies in the dressing room. Not that you need a halftime substitute, but just curious how you handle your most potent attacking player trying to chase this match now.
Anderson leads Brooklyn with 5 goals, has 3 assists in USL Championship play. You would think it's a matter of when, not if, Anderson gets time in the second half.
Yeah, agreed.
Burns under pressure here, just about sneaks it away. Past Hernandez, who was galloping towards him. Battle in the middle of the park. I think that was Tainter who got the touch and then was brought down. And a yellow card came out after that as well.
Not quite sure if it was Tainter or someone else received the card. Oh, it's Brooklyn Pierre De Silva is shown the card. There was a collision on that far side. Tough to sort out who exactly was the instigator there.
It did look to be a late challenge, and I think that's why the referee went to his pocket. As Crognali's got to be careful here under heavy pressure on this near side. That sideline almost acts as an extra defender here, and San Antonio gives it away. It's looped over the top, but McNamara is caught offside at the last moment, and the Brooklyn potential counterattack very swiftly fizzles out.
Yeah, Crognali needs to make a quicker decision there. And he's got to understand that touch line is closer than it is really at any venue in the USL Championship. He made the turn to the outside, and all of a sudden he saw a white line there, and he got boxed in by two defenders. That is what Brooklyn is going to do. That is the way they pull themselves into this match. You just have to be careful back there if you're San Antonio.
Hernandez, lovely take. Hold up play, finds Akeem O'Connor-Ward. And a reset back from Barron. Tainter. Cross-field ball, again O'Connor-Ward centrally. Christian Pirano, the goal scorer. We're into 3 added minutes at the end of the half here. San Antonio trying to heap more pressure on Brooklyn in search of a second here before the break. Tainter again. Maldonado popping up in that pocket. Hernandez is available as well. It's clipped back towards him. Jorge Hernandez so tough to knock off the ball here, plays it square. And then the attempt to play it and almost feather it down that far sideline. Sees it trickle out of play.
It was so good there up until that moment. The triangular passing, a lot of space, good runs. San Antonio has absolutely found a way in close quarters to get some space to maneuver within this Brooklyn defense.
Miscued kick by Obregon. And it could not be saved by Olney on this near side. San Antonio throw. Brooklyn almost trying to bait Akeem O'Connor-Ward to put it in a certain area. And Crognali again has to be very swift, plays it back to Petruni. Tainter's available as an outlet. And just dinks it over the top. Sometimes that might be the best avenue for San Antonio. Just keep it simple and get it out of your own half.
Well, certainly now they have Brooklyn thinking about it because they've won all the foot races. They've made strong runs. They have the goal. They've been superior. So you might as well.
Oh, O'Connor-Ward, that was a lovely touch. He's dragged down. San Antonio free kick.
It has been a pleasure watching him play in this first half. Akeem O'Connor-Ward has been the best player on the pitch in this first half.
I think the hands on heads there is that San Antonio wanted to play that ball quickly here. The referee has not allowed them to do that, particularly in the final seconds of the half. That'll lead to 1 or 2 frustrations from the boys in white here. Granali. Another cross-field ball. It falls kindly here for Emil Quaisho. We certainly know what he's capable of from just the outskirts of the 18-yard box. That one left a bit to be desired. 3 minutes are up. It's a throw-in for Alves and Brooklyn deep in their own half. Alves back into play, headed by Suarez. Brooklyn again gets it clear, and that's the end of the half at Maimonides Park. Well, it certainly took San Antonio some time to break the Brooklyn resistance, but break it they did. Christian Pirano scoring in the 34th minute has San Antonio on top at the half.
Good teams find ways to bounce back. The second half against Las Vegas, this entire roster was really upset with conceding the 2 goals, losing at home. The response, an inspired first half, a 1-0 advantage, and finding ways to continue, like you said, to break down Brooklyn. That's a good 45 following up disappointment.
Now it's Brooklyn's turn to respond. Big 45 minutes coming up for them. Brooklyn need as many points as they can get as of right now to try to stay alive in the playoff chase in the Eastern Conference of the USL Championship. Good half from Carlos Llamosa's men. They lead 1-0 in the Big Apple. We'll have more from around the rest of the USL Championship when we come back. 1-0, San Antonio leads at the half.
This week on USL All Access, we are back on SiriusXM FC, which means we recap the month that most people didn't see on YouTube. Trevor Ammon, the fastest professional hat trick in American soccer history, speaks with Devin. Plus, we break down the quarterfinal matchups for mid-August's USL Brinks Tires Cup. All that more on SiriusXM FC, the USL YouTube page.
Hearts. No two beat the same. So we built a team of the best heart surgeons, pioneers of the most modern techniques, who always find the one approach that's best for you. But while each surgery is unique, the outcome is the same: the highest success rates. NYU Langone Health.
This week on USL All Access, we are back on SiriusXM FC, which means we recap the month that most people didn't see on YouTube. Trevor Ammon, the fastest professional hat trick in American soccer history, speaks with Devin. Plus, we break down the quarterfinal matchups for mid-August's USL Brinks Tires Cup. All that more on SiriusXM FC, the USL YouTube page.
Hearts. No two beat the same. So we built a team of the best heart surgeons, pioneers of the most modern techniques, who always find the one approach that's best for you. But while each surgery is unique, the outcome is the same: the highest success rates. NYU Langone Health.
Halftime here in Coney Island, Brooklyn, New York in the USL Championship. San Antonio has a 1-0 lead on Brooklyn FC. There's still a big second 45 minutes to come here on ESPN+. Take a break. We'll look around the rest of the USL Championship on the other side. And Wilson scores! Finally a breakthrough for Louisville City!
You ever just look at them and think, yeah, I'm doing all right.
This summer, get 1,000 bonus points and a chance to win 250,000 bonus points.
espectacular. Hay mucha fiesta, señor Martino. Hay sed de revancha, doctor. Pero falta gol y estamos a esperar a Hugo. ¿Hugo Sánchez? Sí, tira para adelante. ¿Quién maneja? ¿Un futbolista? ¡Súbete, llegamos por fin! ¡Ay, bendito sea el chofer, doctor! Hugo, ¿regreso a las canchas? ¿Algún consejo?
Sí, confía y cree en ti.
¡Ey! ¡Vas al norte! A donde me dé la oportunidad, pero listo para dar el paso. ¡Listo, vámonos!
This is your moment.
Prinks tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines, from early mornings to late nights, from fun with friends to winner takes all, from the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinks tires will be there for the long haul.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
This week on USL All Access, we are back on SiriusXM FC, which means we recap the month that most people didn't see on YouTube. Trevor Ammon, the fastest professional hat trick in American soccer history, speaks with Devin. Plus, we break down the quarterfinal matchups for mid-August's USL Prinks Tires Cup. All that more on SiriusXM FC, the USL YouTube page.
Hearts. No two beat the same. So we built a team of the best heart surgeons, pioneers of the most modern techniques, who always find the one approach that's best for you. But while each surgery is unique, the outcome is the same: the highest success rates. NYU Langone Health.
This week on USL All Access, we are back on SiriusXM FC, which means we recap the month that most people didn't see on YouTube. Trevor Ammon, the fastest professional hat trick in American soccer history, speaks with Devin. Plus, we break down the quarterfinal matchups for mid-August's USL Prinks Tires Cup. All that more on SiriusXM FC, the USL YouTube page.
Hearts. No two beat the same. So we built a team of the best heart surgeons, pioneers of the most modern techniques, who always find the one approach that's best for you. But while each surgery is unique, the outcome is the same: the highest success rates. NYU Langone Health.
This week on USL All Access, we are back on SiriusXM FC, which means we recap the month that most people didn't see on YouTube. Trevor Ammon, the fastest professional hat trick in American soccer history, speaks with Devin. Plus, we break down the quarterfinal matchups for mid-August's USL Prinks Tires Cup. All that more on SiriusXM FC, the USL YouTube page.
Halftime here at Maimonides Park in Brooklyn, New York. Sean St. Jacques, Ken Levica, our entire crew. Great to have you with us on a packed night of action around the grounds in the USL Championship. San Antonio leads Brooklyn by 1-0 in the first ever meeting between these two teams in an East-West showdown. We have a chance now to look back at the team of the week in the USL Championship. And there are a few Brooklyn representatives. Tommy McNamara.
It is halftime in the USL Championship. We hope you're enjoying the match so far. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio with a look at the headlines. It was an amazing accomplishment and USL history. Trevor Ammon's hat trick blew open Pittsburgh Riverhounds game against Louisville City. Ammon scored 3 goals in 3 minutes and 27 seconds, the fastest hat trick in league history. The Riverhounds collected a 3-1 victory on national TV. Construction is underway on Detroit City's new home. The groundbreaking for Alumni Phi Stadium took place last Wednesday with club partners, business leadership, as well as the mayor of Detroit on hand. The 15,000-seat stadium's planned opening is in 2028. The CONCACAF Under-20 Championship now underway in Mexico. 3 players from USL clubs are with the U.S. Under-20 team. Colton Swan of Charleston Battery and Brandon Days of Louisville City represent the championship. Braden Dunham represents Swarm FC of USL League Two. National Spotlight games in Championship and League One. Next Saturday, Tampa Bay hosting Louisville on ESPN2. August 5th, Richmond Kickers hosting the New York Cosmos on CBS SN. And then on the 8th, Monterey Bay hosts New Mexico United on CBS SN. This is the USL Halftime Update. Let's get you back out to your match.
Hearts. No two beat the same. So we built a team of the best heart surgeons, pioneers of the most modern techniques, who always find the one approach that's best for you. But while each surgery is unique, the outcome is the same: the highest success rates. NYU Langone Health.
This week on USL All Access, we are back on SiriusXM FC, which means we recap the month that most people didn't see on YouTube. Trevor Ammon, the fastest professional hat trick in American soccer history, speaks with Devin. Plus, we break down the quarterfinal matchups for mid-August's USL Prinks Tires Cup. All that more on SiriusXM FC, the USL YouTube page.
Hearts. No two beat the same. So we built a team of the best heart surgeons, pioneers of the most modern techniques, who always find the one approach that's best for you. But while each surgery is unique, the outcome is the same: the highest success rates. NYU Langone Health.
This week on USL All Access, we are back on SiriusXM FC, which means we recap the month that most people didn't see on YouTube. Trevor Ammon, the fastest professional hat trick in American soccer history, speaks with Devin. Plus, we break down the quarterfinal matchups for mid-August's USL Prinks Tires Cup. All that more on SiriusXM FC, the USL YouTube page.
Charles St. Jacques, Ken Levick, our entire crew, great to have you with us. About to get the second half rolling here in Brooklyn, between Brooklyn and San Antonio in the USL Championship tonight. Carlos Llamosa's men have a 1-0 lead to try to work with in the second 45. But first we look back at the first half highlights from this one. It did take San Antonio time to get to the breakthrough. There were a decent amount of at least half chances for Brooklyn.
Yeah, it was a feeling out process initially between these two sides. CJ only with the cross, handled well by Batruni, going up high as Obregon was making the run in the box. At the half-hour mark, San Antonio starts to find its footing. A shot off of the post, the follow. Lucas Burns, he got lucky in one moment, and then he was just good in the second, able to recover and tip that over the crossbar. It remained 0-0. But just moments later, you have this corner that's chopped at by Cronali. Blocked again. The pressure continues to come on. Pirano put a pin in his name, by the way, has that rebound attempt blocked. Brooklyn holding on, hanging on for dear life defensively, and finally the dam would end up breaking. 34th minute. Akeem O'Connor-Ward. That cross takes a bit of a deflection onto Pirano. A tackle at first, Pirano able to stay with it and poke it by Lucas Burns. This was the conclusion of what was a significant stretch of pressure from San Antonio, and they finally get the breakthrough, and that is your scoreline at halftime. San Antonio 1, Brooklyn 0.
In those last 15 minutes in particular, San Antonio put the pedal to the metal, and really one of the key stats from the first half, obviously the possession, yes, plus 10 in shots, but the quality of the chances there for San Antonio, not so much for Brooklyn.
Very little has been wasted. The corners being 6-zip also shows you how much consistent pressure San Antonio has put on this Brooklyn defense.
Well, just about ready to go here as the sun is just about set on this New York night here in Brooklyn on Coney Island. Sean St. Jacques, Ken Levica, our entire crew. Always great to be with you on a jam-packed night of action in the USL Championship. San Antonio 1-0 up on Brooklyn, knowing that if they hold on for at least a time period, for about maybe an hour, maybe more, who knows, they will be joint top of the West with Orange County. But Orange County, of course, does play later on tonight. So we'll see if that holds up. Teams will switch sides at the start of the second half. This time Brooklyn will be going from left to right. Again, they're in their home blacks. San Antonio are in their road whites with the black numerals. Christian Pirano's goal as the team from Texas ahead. We'll see if Brooklyn can bounce back in the second 45, knowing they really need something from this game. Points for them are so necessary at the moment. They're one of the teams chasing down the teams like Rhode Island and Hartford and Birmingham, who are in and around the top 8, at least the playoff line at the moment in the East.
Well, the team that's dominated the USL Championship all season long, Tampa Bay Rowdies, down a man, and after being up 2-0 over Miami FC, it is now 2-2 in that match. And Miami FC could move themselves all the way up to 6th if they can hang on for that draw. And if they find a way to get a late winner, suddenly they're up near the top 4. The Eastern Conference is wild outside of the top 3.
Olney's pressure for Brooklyn. He never gave up on the play. CJ Olney, but Petruni holds on for San Antonio. Both teams are unchanged as far as substitutions go at the start of the second half.
A lot of these matches, USL Championship tonight, full night, gonna go final well before we conclude, which we weren't expecting.
That is stood up into the middle. Good header away by Hakeem O'Connor-Ward, who was very impressive in the opening half. It's clipped back into the middle, but nobody there for Brooklyn to attack it, and it's a goal kick.
Our match tonight started with a 47-minute delay because EMTs were not yet present here at Maimonides Park. But they made good time.
Did they ever?
I mean, you're getting through New York area, Brooklyn traffic, and I thought for sure we were destined for maybe an 8:30 Eastern time, knowing the gridlock, especially on a Saturday night. And they got there, and the fact that we started before 8 o'clock after that delay is a minor miracle, so well done to them. By the way, I was talking about that Tampa Bay-Miami match. Tampa Bay just regained the lead past the 80th minute. Chaos in the USL Championship.
Rowdies tend to find a way in that Floridian derby. We'll see if that holds up. We were talking during the break as well. The road teams tonight, so far at least, in the USL Championship are having their way. The likes of Rhode Island, Tampa Bay, Loudoun, Las Vegas, and of course here in Brooklyn, San Antonio, all have leads at the moment. Obviously, a few of those teams are closing in on potentially sealing pretty impressive road results if things stay the way they are. Quaisho, meanwhile, for San Antonio. Trying to get back onto it from Hernandez. He almost jumped over the ball. Emil Quaisho there. Tainter now in a little bit of a pickle. Gets help from behind, and then this is tracked down on the near side. San Antonio can still create with Christian Pirano. Pirano for Quaisho. Hernandez looking for the angle to maybe cross, maybe shoot. Was he tripped up there? Referee tells Hernandez to get right back up. Tainter continues on for San Antonio. Cronali with a rug scraper that goes wide of the target. Goal kick.
Hernandez so dangerous. And that's close. Though what the referee is going to say is that Hernandez put himself into Venkayazil, and I agree with the referee. If he keeps his footing and there's that contact, perhaps you get that point to the spot, but he left his feet and leapt into Venkayazil. But he did a wonderful job, did Jorge Hernandez, in those tight spaces. He's just so electric.
Olney plays this across. The initial shot is blocked. It's bundled around the edge of the 6, and again, Brooklyn cannot force a shot. Venkayazil had the last swipe at it. San Antonio just about finds the escape route there.
On the first attempt, that opening touch, it's got to be better.
No foul there. McNamara flung his way at it. Now the referee brings it back. Referee didn't signal for advantage there. You wondered if he was going to call that. It is a free kick.
This is the best chance of the night for Brooklyn, and that's just clumsy by Pierre Da Silva. It's got to be a better touch. He had enough time to settle and shoot. And this is what happens, though, when you're a team that's trying to find itself. You're not used to developing the attack. You're hitting on the counter an awful lot. Sometimes it's the moment of truth, and your instincts fail you. But that is the best buildup we've seen from Brooklyn tonight.
Brooklyn gets another set piece here. Da Silva whips in a decent ball. The flicked on header rolls out of the penalty area. Thiago Suarez, lovely run initially down this near side, switches the point of the attack, but puts too much on the ball in behind. Here's Emil Quaisho for San Antonio, and this time neither one thing nor the other as far as a pass or a shot.
It's the second time tonight we've seen Quaisho try to deliver to the back post, and it has gotten away from him.
By the way, one of the results has gone final. Loudoun hangs on to beat Indy at Indy. That is a huge win for Anthony Limbrick's group. It also puts more pressure on Brooklyn in this game, because Loudoun, if this result were to hold, would gain even more of a cushion on Brooklyn, and Loudoun pushes themselves with a win here towards, and at least closer to, that playoff line in the East.
I don't think the referee sees the injured Brooklyn player in the midfield.
Akeem O'Connor-Ward goes on. Hernandez drags it just wide. It'll be a goal kick.
Let's take a look at what happened here. So this race for the ball, and being chopped down on was Ryan McLaughlin. He's trying to move that ankle. He's in obvious pain. And play just continued on. So McLaughlin's going to need the physio, it appears. There's nothing violent about that, in my opinion. But it should have been a foul. It should have stopped play.
Well, it's led to an impromptu hydro break, if you will, here, as Tommy McNamara reenacts some of the actions he's seen to the referee here, the veteran. Well, so far so good for Carlos Llamosa and San Antonio. I'm sure they'd love to grab another one here to really stamp their authority on proceedings, but we highlighted this earlier. Really, since around the 30th minute, maybe even the 29th minute, San Antonio been much the better side. They weathered that early Brooklyn storm, and really Marlon LeBlanc's side just didn't have enough cutting edge to really trouble the San Antonio sturdy defense. And since then, the team from Texas have pretty much been in control.
Well, you want to reverse your fortunes from that forgettable second half. I mean, that if you're a team that has designs on a championship, and San Antonio, one, very much does, and two, very much capable of hoisting a cup at the end of the season. You can't have lapses like that, though. That's losing football. Now, it appears as if Las Vegas has suddenly found itself because they're about to close out a big road win over Detroit City on the road. It's 1-0, and they are now in stoppage time. So Las Vegas is getting it going, but you can't play listless football this time of the year an entire half. That's what happened, and they've responded.
Rhode Island, by the way, also holds on to beat Pittsburgh in the Steel City as well. Huge win for Cano Smith's group. They jump up into 6th place in the Eastern Conference after they, of course, won the derby over Hartford last week as well. A little bit of revenge as well. Rhode Island lost the Eastern Conference final to Pittsburgh last season as well. And now Brooklyn are starting to dip into the bench, and you guessed it, Marcus Anderson is going to be one of the players coming on here for Marlon LeBlanc.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious that this was going to happen at some point, and I suspected it was going to come around the hour mark, but now with the stoppage due to injury, that gave Marcus Anderson time to get warm, and here he comes.
Well, Marcus Anderson and Stefan Stojanovic both come in for Marlon LeBlanc. Pierre De Silva and J.C. Obergon both make way for Brooklyn. No surprise that Marlon LeBlanc basically replenishes his attack with fresh legs here, and certainly talented players, most notably Anderson.
Well, bringing in Anderson on as a substitute, that will change what San Antonio does here. You have to account for him. You have to be strong in the marking, and Anderson will come up and he'll press you as well. Now, Anderson has not scored in the last 4 matches, but he still affects the attack. He's the one who drew the foul in the box to get the second and get the point from the Sporting Jacks contest last week. So he always makes his presence felt. Stojanovic playing for the first time in 2 matches. He was suspended for the Sporting Jacks match due to red card.
The whistle will stop the sequence here. Well, there was slight confusion over what the referee gave there, but I believe it's going to be a Brooklyn free kick at the back end of all of that. And certainly Brooklyn have left a little bit to be desired from set pieces tonight. They've had their fair share, have not created anything from any of those opportunities yet. Olney and McNamara taking charge. It's played to the edge of the area, and the shot wasn't too bad from Gabriel Alves, but Petruni makes the stop for San Antonio.
That was not a bad effort at all. Had to make Petruni make a play on it. So there is the opening shot on target for Brooklyn. And maybe they can sustain a bit of pressure here.
Anderson's back heel. Played to the edge of the area. It's a little layoff. McLaughlin into the middle, headed away by Suarez. Van Kuyziel. Spoon back over the top. Oh, the goalkeeper made a mess of that. Brooklyn are asking the questions again of a penalty here. Nothing given on this occasion.
Well, Gabriel Alves was making a run towards the ball, but I do believe he was beaten there by Petruni before there was any contact in the box, and McNamara was really protesting, but I think that's a good no call. But you got to be careful here if you're San Antonio. Since Anderson has come on, there is new life, new pulse with this Brooklyn attack.
Brooklyn has it back as we approach the hour. Van Kayazil lays it off and continues on. And then as McNamara came back in, a foul is going to be called here. McNamara does get a talking to here. Oh, and more than that, he gets a yellow card. But when De Silva left, he took his yellow card with him for Brooklyn, but not very long after that, McNamara now sitting on a booking.
McNamara has been extremely frustrated, and I don't know if there's a ton there. What I do know is that that was potentially very dangerous because Barone, as he gets up into the air, he cut out the legs of Akeem O'Connor-Ward, and we've seen plays like that before where the player not even involved, who's clearly not paying attention to the action around him, suddenly finds himself in pain and injured. That was dangerous. For, to me, contact that didn't necessarily entirely cause the flip through the air that Lucio Barone ended up performing. That could have been really bad.
Anderson flicks the header from the restart, nobody there. It's a profit for Brooklyn. Back out for his San Antonio throw. Ken, you mentioned it earlier, Vegas 1-0 up away to Detroit. They hold on and win. Another big win away from home for Devin Rensing's Las Vegas Lights. You wonder if the narrative starts to shift with them in the Western Conference playoff chase in and around the playoff line, as that's going to be a foul and a free kick for San Antonio.
Yeah, Las Vegas pushes itself above the playoff line now with that victory. I mean, you have 7 points separating top of table, and if this result holds, San Antonio would sit tied for first in the Western Conference, and then 8 seed Las Vegas in real time. 7 points.
We're looking at a snapshot of the table, obviously, but think about this. El Paso are in 9th. Phoenix are in 10th. Sacramento are in 11th. Now, all those teams have a chance to respond later on tonight, but that is how tight it is in the West, whereas the likes of Colorado Springs and Lexington, the Lights, all were out of the playoffs heading into this week. Now all are in top spots, or at least very much above the playoff line. Another testy moment here. We've seen a few of these flare-ups tonight. Jorge Hernandez booked for San Antonio for extracurriculars.
Yeah, this is definitely picked up. And Hernandez, as the race is on to the end line. Yeah, just absolutely throwing Romeo in the battle. That's a rightful yellow card. And that's one of those where it's more of a sending a message, I'll take the card, I know it's coming, than anything, and there's a handball.
Well, we pondered when Marlon LeBlanc was going to make changes. He's obviously made a couple. You do start to wonder when Carlos Llamosa maybe dips into his depth, getting closer to 25 minutes left, plus stoppage time. And Brooklyn have slightly gained momentum back since bringing Anderson and Stojanovic in.
Actually, McNamara was tied up again behind the play before that Anderson handball, so it's a free kick. The referee needs to start to get control of this, because there are hard fouls every minute or so now. And I think that's what's happening, actually. Yep. As the bench gets a yellow.
That's the Brooklyn bench picking up a yellow card on that far side. Marlon LeBlanc now asking one or two questions of the referee's decision-making there. And being quite reasonable about it, it appears.
He's a reasonable man.
He's had his piece there. We've seen many more animated reactions from coaches over moments like that. That is spooned over the top. The header is central. Oh, what a save. What a stunning save from Joey Petruni to keep San Antonio in the lead. Incredible.
That was almost an exact blueprint of the first goal against Sporting Jacks a week ago. Two heads, Frogson finds himself unmarked, directs it towards the post, and that is save of the week material from Joseph Petruni.
Only from the ensuing corner, it deflects out of play.
It is so difficult to be anticipating the first flick on. Instead, it heads to Frogson, an entirely different player that you haven't necessarily caught out of your periphery. You're flat-footed because you have to adjust, but you have the power to range to your left and swipe it away from the mouth of goal. That was wonderful from Petruni.
Anderson digs that out. Brooklyn are gaining more and more momentum here. Van Kayazeel, Anderson has to get back up away from the play. Referee waves on advantage. This is clipped in behind, and the cross is blocked. Did it go out of play? Yes, it's a corner for Brooklyn. Brooklyn asking more questions about the sequence. Stojanovic was the target of the ball over the top. Drew Clump's been surrounded a couple of times in these last few moments as Brooklyn are desperate to equalize the game.
Brooklyn has every right to be upset. Marcus Anderson initially was grabbed and pulled and pushed. No whistle. He did well to stay with it. Then, as the push went into the attacking third, Marcus Anderson was trucked from behind by Santiago Suarez, and no whistle.
Brooklyn gets another chance from a corner through McNamara. Taimu Okiyoshi is nearby for a potential short option.
This match has flipped with Anderson subbing in, completely turned its head.
You do start to wonder if San Antonio's got to dip into their chess piece pool here to try to slow down Brooklyn's momentum. Now the question, of course, is, on top of that, can Brooklyn make San Antonio pay here? McNamara's ball in is volleyed towards goal and touched in by Anderson. But Anderson's offside. It's not going to count. That was very, very tight. Brooklyn are convinced it should have been given. Of course, there's no VAR, so the goal is not going to count.
Anderson beside himself. It felt like the exclamation point with only hands on head, shocked of what's been really good football. This is chopped in, and Anderson, like you said, it's close, and he's clearly offside. Anderson is a full body offside. He might not be happy about it. He might be protesting it, but that's not even a difficult judgment to make. He is offside.
That's when it's very helpful to have the lines there, and the 6-yard line sort of your indicator there that Anderson drifts offside there. Only just, but it's pretty clear cut from that last angle.
But it's a warning shot It's more than a warning shot. It's made contact. San Antonio has to cinch it up here.
San Antonio quite literally huddled up after that moment in need of a reset. Crognale up the other end. Poor ball in behind. Recovered by Burns. Brooklyn in the ascendancy in this second half, but can they make it count?
Well, Sorto is upset with his teammate. This is not time for hero ball if you're San Antonio.
San Antonio wins the ball back here, but the offside flag goes up. They had the numbers to cash that in. It fizzles out.
And now Jorge Hernandez is upset with Christian Pirano, who didn't make the run he thought he was going to. A little bit concerning for San Antonio right now. There's some dissent on the pitch, some disagreements.
Well, that's a swing and a miss by Barone, who gets away with it, but does give the ball back here. Van Kayazeel, lovely ball from McNamara. McNamara's ball over the top is headed centrally. Van Kayazeel handled the ball as he settled it down by the penalty spot. And again, Brooklyn are not able to capitalize on a really good team move.
Everything was excellent up until it was time to find that moment of truth. It started with McNamara on the cut. He took too long to see the overlap. He lobs it to the back post. It's an errant header, and then there's the handball.
Well, this was from after the goal being disallowed. San Antonio trying to regroup here. More and more Brooklyn pressure mounting.
Yeah, that's Mitchell Tainter doing what a captain should, bringing them over. It hasn't helped necessarily, however. But man, 3 mistakes in a row by Brooklyn in that sequence. It was all just so excellent. But it started with McNamara, then the miss hit on the cross off the head, and then the handball. And San Antonio, like you just mentioned, Sean, had to start bringing on some fresh legs, and here they come.
Well, the goal scorer, Pirano, Christian Sorto, both going to make way here. And one of the San Antonio loanees, Kurt Koloff, is going to come in. Kurt Koloff will replace Pirano. Diogo Pacheco is going to replace Christian Sorto. Koloff is on loan from Minnesota United FC2 out of MLS Next Pro. From the restart, Brooklyn again reset the cards. Romeo for Frogson, and Frogson gives the ball away. Now can San Antonio break? It's pushed forward in the end by Kurt Koloff. Nobody there for the visitors. We could be in for quite the last 17 minutes here. McNamara fouled. Brooklyn free kick inside the center circle. And now San Antonio are not happy with the referee here. Carlos Llamosa is incensed and yelling at the 4th official in the background.
It's McNamara involved again for Brooklyn. And no cards, but furious touch lines. McNamara and Barone, we've seen it a bunch tonight, those two coming together. McNamara needs to be careful sitting on a card.
Anderson again is the target, and this time, much like earlier, he's caught offside and actually had more time to adjust on that particular occasion.
It is intense out here. You have to keep your head if you're San Antonio. We've already seen tempers spill over teammate to teammate. For Brooklyn, you've got to maintain, continue the pressure, but you also have one of your cornerstones in McNamara, who's sitting on a card. and is in continual dangerous situations.
Here is Emil Quayshaw. Trying to switch the point of the attack. Foul is called. Akeem O'Connor-Ward trying to sort of ease his way past Gabriel Alves, but the referee spots the infringement and gives Brooklyn a free kick with about 15 minutes plus stoppage time left.
That clock needs to tick faster if you're San Antonio.
Anderson's pressure off the initial Stojanovic feed. It leads to a takeaway, but then Brooklyn gives it right back. That's looped over the top, and the offside flag goes up against the substitute Diogo Pacheco. And if the result holds, San Antonio goes joint top of the table in the West with Orange County, pending Orange County's trip to Monterey Bay later on tonight. Brooklyn trying to keep pace with the likes of Loudoun and Birmingham and others ahead of them, knowing that Loudoun is one tonight, Rhode Island is one tonight. They really need to get something from this game, you would feel, to try and stay around in the hunt for the playoffs. Not saying a loss tonight would eliminate them by any means, but we're getting towards the part of the season where any dropped points could really put you behind the 8 ball, particularly right now in the East.
Yeah, there's a very small margin for error. If you want to find a way, like Brooklyn needs to leapfrog 3 or 4 teams.
That's floated over the top. Mankai Azil can only get a touch to it. It's out for a goal kick.
But to speak to that, in a different sense, we're talking about Brooklyn trying to fight to keep the 8 seed in their eyesight. San Antonio, they took only 1 point from Monterey Bay, who's 11th coming into tonight in the West, and Las Vegas, 12th coming into tonight in the Western Conference. Obviously now a couple of impressive wins for them. But San Antonio only 10 points of a possible 21 from teams outside the playoff picture coming into this evening. So that could matter too if you have a 1 seed on the line.
Foul, free kick, yellow card. There were some afters as well.
This is messy. It's Kalev, or is it Suarez?
We take another look.
That's Kalev, and that's, yeah, it's Kalev. Suarez thought it was on him because he made the second point of contact. That's actually a pretty dangerous tackle from Kurt Kalev. It was late.
And Suarez and Anderson got into it after that. Brooklyn were asking for a card there too. Just the one for Kurt Kalev. And again, Brooklyn have a set piece opportunity. McNamara stands it up into the middle. It heads right back out. McNamara swipes at it. It takes a deflection. Some Brooklyn frustration, but I think they get the call here. It looks like it is going to be a corner on the near side.
That was certainly ambitious for McNamara, but it earns a set piece. Didn't have a single corner in the first half, Brooklyn. Now they're up to 3 and more reinforcements on the way.
That's going to be the end of the night for Taimu Okiyoshi. Jaden Servania is going to come in. More attacking firepower, at least in theory, for Brooklyn. Servania is going to take the corner as well. Takes it short for Olney. Back to Servania. Into the edge of the area. Olney flashes it across from McNamara. McNamara is tripped up by Suarez. Suarez is booked. Another Brooklyn set piece.
San Antonio, they're desperately pursuing the ball, but there's also tired legs out there right now. That's not helping the cause, and the communication hasn't been great defensively.
Carlos Llamosa does have the likes of Nelson Flores Blanco and Danny Barbier on his bench from a defensive standpoint for San Antonio. Obviously has not pulled the trigger on those yet. There's still 10 minutes plus stoppage time left. Brooklyn continuing to show promise, continuing to show positive moments in the attack, just lacking the finishing touch. McNamara and Cervania stand over this. It's McNamara through the wall, and Petruni comes up with it.
Petruni made a tricky save look elementary because he's going to have a hard time seeing that as it got through the wall, got through all of the massive humanity. Does not give up a rebound and read it well.
Anderson flicks that on. Stojanovic only back into the middle. Cervania dives for it, cannot get there. San Antonio clears, and they could capitalize here. Up the other end. A chance to shoot, and it's saved by Burns. End to end we go here.
Burns wanted to distribute, but everybody needs a little bit of a breather. But once again, Brooklyn, how many opportunities are they going to have where at the exact moment you need quality, you cough it up?
Crognali does so well there for San Antonio to win it back in tight quarters. But that was flicked forward, and again, Brooklyn will clear it. They loop it over the top here. And Akeem O'Connor-Ward, huge recovery to touch that away. And then that's headed back here. Oh, and the goalkeeper Burns is there. Hernandez was played in, would have been through. Some chaotic moments starting to develop here down the stretch. McNamara threads a beauty of a ball down the far side. Only into the middle for Anderson. Handball appeals come in from Brooklyn. Barone clears after Tainter assumingly did enough to clear it. Now a slip allows Brooklyn to get back onto it. Poked forward for Stojanovic. His ball across. Anderson's ball across is touched and then held on to by Petruni. It's crazy here. Back and forth, but again, Brooklyn are thwarted.
This is chaos ball, and if you're Brooklyn, you want to continue to have this match as mangled as possible. San Antonio's all out of sorts. You risk getting hit on the counter if you continue to have this look like a track meet. But Brooklyn's not allowing San Antonio to get into any sort of rhythm in possession. And it's because they're just throwing bodies at the ball, case in point.
Another turnover. Cervania keeps the move going for Brooklyn, but his ball comes up short. Crognali again there to sweep it up for San Antonio. 7 minutes plus stoppage time left. You're really starting to wonder here if Christian Pirano's goal is going to be enough. Crognali pressured by Olney. San Antonio keeps it.
It's going to be enough, though, if Brooklyn, at the exact moment that they need one touch, one pass, one delivery, and they fail to make it.
Another throw-in will do San Antonio just fine, at least for now.
You're seeing a microcosm, though, of why Brooklyn is competitive, but also why Brooklyn sits where it does in the table.
McNamara weaves that through. Olney settles for the throw.
Well, based on the first half and the first 15 minutes of the second half, I did not see San Antonio having to hang on for dear life. Could not have foreseen that, especially the way in which it's come about, which has been full-fledged waves of body punches here, body shots from Brooklyn.
Well, Brooklyn FC is proud to partner with NYC Footy of the Footy League, where 60,000 New Yorkers of all skill levels make friends and stay fit playing in organized soccer leagues around the city. Visit www.nycfooty.com to learn more and to sign up. They might get a few more to join in after watching a game like this. It has been fantastic drama. Still a chapter or two left in it. Another collision away from the ball, but then Brooklyn turns the ball over deep in their own half.
That was McNamara who went to the ground again for Brooklyn.
It falls for a volleying chance. Good save, Burns. Down to his left. Keeps Brooklyn in with a pulse.
And Sean, if I'm not mistaken, what happened behind the play with McNamara hitting the ground, he was another run-in with Barone.
Oh, miscommunication there between Anderson and Stojanovic. It allowed Tainter and San Antonio to clear it, and it's brought back for a free kick. And now Anderson's given a talking to from the referee. To say that Marcus Anderson has come on and changed the game, despite a goal not having been scored yet, it's still an understatement. He has come on and everything has flipped.
He hasn't scored since June 3rd, but this is what he means to this attack, because you have to constantly mark him and account for him, and it opens up so much space to be able to push forward and to be able to distribute. Look, he's just so much energy.
This is looped over the top. It was nearly settled by Pacheco, who had a chance there if he had controlled that just slightly better.
And like we mentioned earlier, it was Anderson who drew the pull down in the box late on at Sporting Jacksonville that led to the game drawing penalty. So his mere presence is enough to send defenses in a panic mode.
It was a lovely flick down the line. Back to Akeem O'Connor-Ward. And a slashed shot, a bit of a waste in the end from San Antonio's point of view, is saved.
There has been so much slipping and falling, losing footing in the second half. And it unfortunately is the nature of playing on this turf at this venue. Legs get tired, gets into the evening hours, things cool down a bit, it gets slippery. You can see why coaches become upset. It's difficult.
Carlos Llamosa elects to refresh the midfield. Jorge Hernandez, who is on a yellow card, is going to be withdrawn here. And Nicky Hernandez is going to take his place. So Hernandez for Hernandez here. Nicky for Jorge. Just to try and give a little bit more energy and certainly some fresh legs in the middle of the park, where Brooklyn, frankly, at the moment, are nearly dominating the game. San Antonio fighting here. Nicky Hernandez fighting, trying to get on the ball. Van Kayazil clears. And then Nicky Hernandez does commit a foul. Fresh onto the field. Free kick for Brooklyn. We're ticking down towards the 90th minute.
Introducing himself like that, which is fitting for the second half, which has featured nothing but bodies hitting the ground.
San Antonio takes it away. Kalev back into the middle. Another critical defensive touch. Van Kayazil keeps it with Brooklyn at the vital moment. McLaughlin up ahead, cut out by Akeem O'Connor-Ward for San Antonio. And then that's a poor challenge from Alves to give the visitors a free kick.
This has just been so frantic for the last 20 minutes or so. You just wonder how much Brooklyn has left in the tank. I mean, it has been onslaught and nothing to show for it.
Next big question, how much stoppage time is there going to be here at the end of the 90? We'll find out in a moment. Fourth officials just grabbed the board on the far side. Quaisho sees it roll out of play. It's a Brooklyn throw. Then Quaisho throws the ball away. Told it's going to be 6 added minutes here at the end. Still time for Brooklyn to get at least a point. Or can San Antonio finally slam the door shut here? McLaughlin switched the point there. It's then looped over the top. Anderson not able to get anywhere near it. McNamara tries to sweep things up but gives it away. Nicky Hernandez caught up to, lost out, but O'Connor Ward again is right there to win it back. Up ahead for Pacheco.
This is much more disciplined. The spacing much better for San Antonio.
Brooklyn is preparing a change. We'll get to that in a moment. 5 minutes left at a minimum. Keem O'Connor Ward continues to have a really strong performance for San Antonio. Gets away from a challenge, wins a free kick. I believe that's Alves picking up a yellow card for Brooklyn.
He's man of the match. Didn't score the goal, but he's the primary threat tonight. He's done everything well off the ball, makes the right plays. What an outing tonight for Keem O'Connor Ward.
Actually looks like it's going to be 2 substitutions here for Brooklyn. That's So Nishikawa, who's going to come on for Ryan McLaughlin. And we're told Peter Mangione is coming in as well. And he replaces Tommy McNamara. So that is it. Brooklyn have used their last subs here as they try to attempt to throw the late kitchen sink here at San Antonio. This is played up ahead. Stojanovic dispossessed by Quaisho. O'Connor Ward's back heel. Quaisho's ball is picked off by Anderson off the deflection. Anderson up ahead, and then it's a slip in the middle, and then a misplaced pass allows Kalev and San Antonio again to retrieve it. Then they lose out again. Cervania up ahead. Stojanovic to the edge of the area. The flick on by Anderson is cleared away by Suarez at the vital moment.
Suarez saved 3 points for San Antonio. That's a wide open 1v1. What a defensive play.
San Antonio bring numbers up the other end. But Nicky Hernandez is content to take it towards the corner flag. Ooh, and then he tried to hit it off a Brooklyn player and ends up giving it right back to the hosts here.
You might as well just bring it to the corner if that's the way that's going to be executed. Yikes.
Burns finds Anderson. Anderson chops it past 2. Anderson for Stojanovic, blocked by Tainter. Another critical San Antonio intervention, but Brooklyn still gets the corner.
Desperate defending. Brooklyn still foot on gas. The new substitutions came in, and it's flip possession back to Brooklyn.
Cervania and Olney nearby this near side corner flag. 2 minutes plus stoppage time, or into stoppage time left to go. Can Brooklyn tie the game here late on? Cervania whips it in. It was flicked on. Shot is blocked. Faint handball appeals come in. Stojanovic wins a throw-in on the far side. Anderson again in the heat of the battle here, just tried to get something on it. He's slow to continue. Brooklyn have to put it back into play. The cross is blocked. San Antonio will get it clear. And now Brooklyn are stretched at the back here. San Antonio could go for the jugular if they choose. More white shirts flooding forward here. Emil Quaisho, wide. Goal kick, and San Antonio still haven't sealed the deal.
Nishikawa found himself indecisive, and it almost led to a 2-on-1 counter opportunity. Brooklyn has one good shot left with this against a desperate San Antonio defense that, despite all the warts in this second half, they have sacrificed and they have put themselves in a position to hang on. 3 game-saving blocks in stoppage time.
Can Brooklyn create one more chance? Nishikawa up ahead. Bit of an awkward clearance from Batruni, but Tainter helps him out. Nishikawa again. Anderson lays it off. Early ball from Stojanovic, too early. And that might be that.
Yeah, he panicked.
Game over. San Antonio survives a late Brooklyn barrage to go joint top of the Western Conference with Orange County. Sometimes it doesn't matter how you win, it matters that you win. San Antonio escapes with all 3 points from Coney Island tonight. Pirano's goal is indeed enough. And again, Brooklyn with a missed opportunity at home take nothing away from the contest.
Not surprised to see emotions still high. Some frustration on the part of both sides. And that second half got real dicey for San Antonio. For a second straight match, did not see it through easily. And they really put themselves in some rough situations, some poor situations. But they hang on, they get the 3 points, and they stay right in the Western Conference Championship race. They are looking down at everybody else, along with Orange County.
Lots of positives for Brooklyn to take, but they'll be tired of hearing that. They need results at this point of the campaign. San Antonio survives in the Big Apple tonight. They win it by 1-0. We'll come back to wrap it up after the break.
We are back on SiriusXM FC, which means we recap the month that most people didn't see on YouTube. Trevor Ammon, the fastest professional hat trick in American soccer history, speaks with Devin. Plus, we break down the quarterfinal matchups for mid-August's USL Prince Tires Cup. All that more on SiriusXM FC, the USL YouTube page.
Hearts. No two beat the same. So we built a team of the best heart surgeons, pioneers of the most modern techniques, who always find the one approach that's best for you. But while each surgery is unique, the outcome is the same: the highest success rates. NYU Langone Health.
This week on USL All Access, we are back on SiriusXM FC, which means we recap the month that most people didn't see on YouTube. Trevor Ammon, the fastest professional hat trick in American soccer history, speaks with Devin. Plus, we break down the quarterfinal matchups for mid-August's USL Prince Tires Cup. All that more on SiriusXM FC, the USL YouTube page.
Sean St. Jacques, Ken Levicka, our entire crew back here with you to wrap things up from Maimonides Park in Brooklyn. Brooklyn huffed and puffed the last 20 minutes of this game, but San Antonio stands tall. They win it by 1-0. And at least for now, are the joint leaders in the Western Conference, pending Orange County's result later on tonight. Full-time highlights, first ever meeting between these two teams. It certainly at times lived up to the hype, and boy, did they take big swings at each other down the stretch.
Yeah, nothing disappointed in this one. Akeem O'Connor-Ward feeds the middle, the deflection, Pirano stays with it, and it's 1-0 at the half-hour mark, with San Antonio getting a goal that they certainly looked like they were going to get multiple times over about a 5-minute span, and finally, Pirano finds the back of the net and beats Lucas Burns with a nice hustle play. 66th minute, Brooklyn turned it on in the second half. It coincided with Marcus Anderson being subbed on. That is absolute gorgeous goalkeeping from Joseph Petruni. Flat-footed after the doubleheader, the flick on, and he is able to swipe it from where it appeared to be destined to go inside the post. Brooklyn, though, would continue to put pressure on. Anderson thinks he has drawn things level, but he is clearly offside. Off the set piece, only put it into a dangerous area, but when we saw the replay, Sean and I both agree that Marcus Anderson well offside. 86th minute, San Antonio trying to finally put it away. Some sloppiness in the back. Burns able to sprawl to his left-hand side, make the save. But Brooklyn unable, despite one more glorious opportunity, to even up the scoreline.
Look at the full-time stats. Things tightened up stat-wise in the second half. Brooklyn were wonderful at times in the second half. But you said it during the broadcast, Ken. This game sort of sums up Brooklyn's season. So many positives to take, so many things to build on, but the result just not there.
Brooklyn didn't have a shot on target in the opening half. They finished with 3. They put up 7 shots in the second half. They have 4 corners in the second half and still could not find that one finishing opportunity that they were able to finalize. And it's the 1-0 scoreline. Did Brooklyn play well enough to win? Maybe. To draw? Absolutely. But it's the difference between second place San Antonio, now first place San Antonio, and how they find a way, and Brooklyn who sit outside the playoff line.
Huge credit to Carlos Llamosa's group, particularly after they lost against Vegas last time out. They hold on in their first trip to Brooklyn, and they win it by 1-0. For now, San Antonio are joint leaders in the West, thanks to Christian Pirano's winner, and the defensive heroics down the stretch. For Ken Levicka, in our entire crew, I'm Sean St. Jacques. We say so long from Maimonides Park in Brooklyn. San Antonio, by the hair on their chinny chin chin, holds on to win it by 1-0.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.